3 tips for bigger, better quads. All right guys, since we've done a bunch of these series of bigger, better body parts in 3 tips, I thought we'd go quads next. Since I just finished training legs and all these tenets are fresh on my mind, and something that to me always came fairly naturally because my legs, or specifically quads, have always been a dominant body part, that and calves. And I attribute a lot to my early growth, all the football lifting that I did, which was primarily centered around back squats and front squats, walking lunges with dumbbells that are heavy for high reps. So that's how the foundation of my leg days were before bodybuilding. And then when I got into bodybuilding, I just easily transitioned into much higher volume, but adding in leg press and adding in hack squats and leg extensions. So if you think about that as far as an evolution, it was really natural to me to have a bar on my back, to crush my quads, to fight pain, right? So the first tip I'm gonna give you guys is exercise selection. And that's the reason I rolled through all that, right? So I'm gonna take this down 2 different paths, because I think a lot of times people fail when they're assessing their exercise selection. What they're choosing is they go with what they're told to do, what is a staple or must work, or you have to do this. And to me, if an exercise feels great to you, do it. And then just get brutally strong at it. So for me, after I've had countless back injuries at this point, I knew that it was time to pull back squatting out of my plan. So even though I loved it, spider bar squatting with chains, that's my jam. Like, I love it, I felt it, my legs, my whole body grew off that, right? But when it started to become problematic as far as causing injury, I was forced to take that out. And then I just took that effort that I put towards that piece and moved it on to the leg press and to the hack squat and made those the primary drivers of growth, right? So that became the exercise that I really went deep on. And I forced myself to not only get better at that, but take those 2 exercises and build a program around it and flush it out. So if I did that, my quads actually got better. My sweep jumped more off the bone. The only change I had to have was I had to add in an adductor exercise. So again, for me, the squat reward ratio was not there. So what I had to think about here was, when I pulled that squat out, what I had to replace it with. So that's what I did. So for you, that may be the squat. That may be the leg press. Like, I know, for example, when Chaz and I talk about training, the leg press hurts his back. So he can't do the leg press. So he opts for a belt squat and a hack squat. So I've worked with tons of people that the leg extension crushes their knees, but not their quads. So if that's you, don't be married to an exercise just because you're supposed to do it. Pick a group of exercises that feel great to you, and then be smart with your exercise sequencing, meaning the order that you do them in, and then just get brutally strong at them and push as hard as you can. You do that, and I promise your progress will be through the freaking roof. Number 2, and this is a simple one, your reps are too low. If you're training legs, in my mind, anything under 10, it's too low. Sorry, I said it. I know that in a lot of old mountain dog programs, there's as low as 6 and 8, especially for squats. But I've just always found like that does nothing for my leg development. It does a lot for my ego because I can put more weight on there. But to me, 12 to 30, even 50, honestly, is a sweet spot for me for quad, specifically growth. So all day long, you need to take those reps north. And I'm gonna kind of do a caveat to this, because if those reps are garbage, meaning too shallow, not deep enough, not controlled, then they don't count. So if you're gonna do 12, 15, 20 reps, it forces you to lock in and really focus, because it's a lot of time under tension, meaning the set's gonna be long. So you have to make sure every single one of those reps are perfect. So for example, if I'm on a hack squat, my hamstrings better sit on my calves. I better not stretch reflex out of the hole, meaning bounce out of the hole or bounce off the safety stops. And I better control up and then not lock out at the top, meaning putting all the tension on the joint of the knee and the hip and the ankle, as opposed to leaving the tension on my quads. So your reps are too low, that's tip number 2. And the last thing here, you're just scared to find the pain cave. I'm sorry, it's the truth. I see too many people tapping out with reps in the tank. And with legs specifically, you have to go to crazy places if you want big, nasty quads. I'm sorry, it's just the truth. Unless you're a genetic freak and you're gifted with good legs, it's not gonna work taking sets with an RPE of 6 to 8. You have to go to 10, 12, 13. It's just the truth, what I've seen. The guys with the biggest legs typically have the highest pain tolerance. And what I mean by that is, when that burn starts, how many more reps can you do? How many more? How many more sets can you convince yourself? Go down again, Chris. Go down again, Chris. You got another one. Don't be scared of it. Who cares if you can't stand up? Go again, until you're literally physically forced to rack the weight. That's the key to quads. I just gave you to them. All 3, those are the tips. So quick review, exercise selection, take your reps up, and find the pain cave. You do that, you'll be walking around with a great set of legs. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, Krebs CB.